Hi there, it's Anthony Chu from Mobb, back with another integration video. Today, we're going to be looking at how to integrate Mobb as part of your Atlassian Bamboo pipeline. So if you're using the Atlassian ecosystem today, or if you're using Bamboo as part of your builds, or if you're running static analysis in your Bamboo builds, then this video is for you. All right, let's get started. So what I have here is a source code repository that contains a deliberate SQL injection vulnerability. And I'm using GitHub in this case, but if you're using Bitbucket, GitLab, or any other source code repository tool, the workflow is going to be very similar. Now, the workflow that we're going to be going through is one that the developer goes through quite often, which is to submit a set of code changes through a pull request. Now, in this case, I'm going to be making a small edit in my code, in which case it will allow me to trigger a pull request here. Okay, so with the pull request created, you can see I have configured my pull request to wait for a build to take place. In this case, it's going to be Bamboo. And what I have configured in the build is to essentially run a static analysis scan on the code. So in this case, we're using Snyk as our SAS tool. And I also have defined that, if there are issues found by the SAS tool, then run mob autofixer to parse the scan results to generate the autofix recommendations. So while this is running, let's go to my Bamboo environment to see what is going on. So what I have here is my locally deployed Bamboo environment. The plan that we want to look at under my build dashboard is the mob demo plan here. This is where I have all the configurations defined. So if we go to the view plan configuration, we can see that under stages, we have the default stage that contains the SAST step and the mob autofixer step. And if we access that, then that takes us to the task view. And here we can see in more detail what exactly is happening as part of this build. The two tasks I want to draw our attention to is the static analysis scan step right here, which runs the Snyk scan. So the way how this has been defined is that if there are issues found within my source code, then it will fill the build. And in one of the next steps here with Mobb, essentially we are running this on a conditional basis that if there are issues found by the static analysis tool, then we will run the Mobb step to essentially consume the report that was produced by the SAS tool. In this case, it's the report.json file, and that is what allows us to generate the autofix recommendations. So while we're still here, I also want to point to the link repository where this Bamboo spec is actually stored. So if we go to the same repository here under the build plan, we can see all the steps that have been defined here. So I'll make sure to include the link to this repository so you can reference the YAML if you decide to try to deploy this in your own environment. Now, another thing we also need to be aware of is the definition of the different variables that's needed to run the build. So if we go to the global variable section under my Bamboo administration, you can see I have the Mobb API secret, the Snyk, and also for GitHub loaded here. And that is what allows me to perform this particular integration. So let's go back to our pull request. So here we can see it looks like the pull request is now complete. And as expected, the Snyk scan has returned with vulnerabilities identified. So as a developer, what's interesting to me is that I want to be able to fix the issues and get the pull request going as quickly as possible. So in this case, what I'll do is I'll access a Mobb fix link that is being given here. And this link will take us to the Mobb user interface. Here we arrive at the projects page for this particular run. And we can see all the available fixes being listed here. In this case, it's just a single SQL injection issue, and we can see that it is ready for me to access. So let's use the link to fix button here. And this will take us to the fix page, right? So here's where Mobb is essentially recommending what we change to the source code in order to address or remediate this particular vulnerability. And on the left-hand side here, we also have an opportunity to influence the fix if we want to. So if we're all good to go, let's go ahead and commit the changes. So in the commit changes screen here, I will be putting in my feature branch as my target branch, and Mobb will automatically create a new branch for me along with a pull request to merge the fix into my feature branch. And this will take us back into GitHub with a new pull request to merge the fix code back into my environment. And again, you can see at the bottom here, Essentially, we want to have our SaaS tool verify the fixes that we are implementing is indeed good and that we are safe to perform the merge. Alright, so this concludes this video on how you can easily integrate Mobb as part of your Bamboo CI/CD pipeline. I'll include all the information that you need to replicate this in your own Bamboo environment. But as always, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to myself or anyone in the Mobb team, and I wish you have a nice day.